No one has ever come off a golf course and said, oh, that was just too easy. I just didn't enjoy that. It was too easy. I was just hitting that ball way too far, and this game is just too easy. No one's ever said that. Today we are talking about the most important decision that will happen in the golf industry within our lifetimes. Over the last few years, the USGA and the R&A have been doing something they call a distance insight report. Now basically this has been looking at statistics and figures over the last few years on the PGA, European and all professional golf tours around the world to see basically how the distances are going up that the players are hitting it. They have been taking a look at the equipment, the golf ball, the golf clubs, and to see, what's causing the ball to go, people to hit the ball so much longer, and what needs to be done about it. Now, before I give my opinion and give you some more information, including Rory Mcilroy's opinion, because he's been speaking out on it this week, and some other information regarding Bryson DeChambeau and how it might affect him, let's talk about why this has become an issue in the first place. The only reason this has become an issue is because there are a lot of golf courses around the world, especially older golf courses which were built, over 100 years ago, where basically back then the golf ball might have gone almost half the distance that it does now. Now, obviously, these golf courses today are a lot easier to play than they were when they were created. So the R&A and USGA basically has decided they want to roll the technology back or create some sort of limiting factors to stop PGA and European Tour players, or even most golfers around the world, basically hitting the golf ball so far to keep a lot of these courses relevant. Because a lot of golf courses have had to buy extra lands to try and lengthen holes and make them more challenging. That is one side to the argument. And in my opinion, that is completely wrong. Let me explain. We have seen the US Open venues over the last few years that have been so incredibly difficult to play golf on, and yet they were not long golf courses. All of the most difficult courses on the PGA Tour, the European Tour, they're not the longest golf courses. They are the most challenging golf courses in terms of the design, where the bunkers are placed, narrowness of the fairways, thicker rough, and other such things. These things make the players have to be more skillful to play the golf course and to get their ball around it without having to be so long and just, a slogfest. So, the USGA and R&A has obviously been saying that they want to roll back some of the technology. Now, this might not be for amateur golfers too, this could just be for professionals, but Rory Mcilroy has been speaking out against this, and to be honest, it's been quite good to see, and he makes a lot of very valid points. So, let me just read you some bits from this article and what Rory's been saying. So basically, Rory said he has delivered a withering critique of efforts by golfing officialdom to limit how far drivers can be hit, with the 4 times major champion branding the campaign a huge waste of time and money. McIlroy's comments will be highly embarrassing for the R&A and USGA, who issued topics of interest to manufacturers this week as part of a lengthy process. McIlroy said, I think the authorities, the R&A and USGA, are looking at the game through such a tiny little lens. What they're trying to do is change something that pertains to 0.1% of the golfing community. 99.9% of people that play this game play for enjoyment, for entertainment. They don't need to be told what ball or club to use. We have to make the game as easy, approachable as possible for the majority of golfers. Honestly, I think this distance insight report has been a huge waste of time and money, because that money that it's cost to do this report could have been way better distributed to getting people into the game, introducing young kids to the game, introducing minorities to the game. He then goes on to say, I heard Mike Davis, who's the USGA executive director, say something about trying to protect the game for the next 100 years. This isn't how you do it. This is so small, inconsequential compared to the other things happening in the game. It's the grassroots. It's getting more people engaged in golf. That's where they should be spending their money, not spending it on the distance insight report. McIlroy did apparently concede a difference in regulations between professionals and amateurs might be sensible. He said, I would be all for that. If they want to try and make the game more difficult for us or try to incorporate more skill to the game, I would be all for that, because I think it only benefits the better player, which I feel like I am. I think maybe they said that in terms of local rules, maybe some sort of bifurcation, but we are such a tiny portion of golf. Golf is way bigger than the professional game. We are such a tiny part of it. It's the other stuff that really matters. That's the stuff they need to concentrate on. Now, this is pretty interesting. I personally have very, very strong opinions on this. I don't believe there needs to be any sort of limiting in equipment or anything like that. Now, if you want, I can explain why quickly. No one has ever come off a golf course and said, oh, you know, that was just too easy. I just didn't enjoy that. It was too easy. I was just hitting that ball way too far, and you know, this game is just too easy. No one's ever said that. I have no understanding of the kind of people who could think, oh, you know what, golf used to be harder back 100 years ago. You know what, the world's changed so much. Let's make sure golf doesn't change. Let's return it to what it was. The world has changed. Golf has changed. It has changed for the better. We now have the most amount of people ever playing golf. Yes, it could be doing more to be more inclusive, 100%. It needs to be made more casual, more approachable to young people, to minorities, to people who aren't already in exclusive country clubs and, you know, where you have to know a certain member to join, or where you get looked at weirdly if your shirt isn't tucked in, or where you get kicked off the course for, you know, not having appropriate clothing. It needs to change. It needs to stop this snobbishness that is just, it just gives it such a bad reputation. I see it all the time at my own golf club. I work in the golf industry, filming golf is what I do, and yet I constantly getting people coming up to me, having a go at me, slagging me off at my own golf club. And why are they doing that? Because I have a camera with me, because I'm filming some of the shots I'm hitting for you guys, for social media, to create content to keep you all entertained. And, you know, how does it affect them? It doesn't affect them in the slightest. I make sure, I don't even play most full holes now. I'll film a few shots and then I'll just pick my ball up and walk on to the next, just to make sure I'm nowhere near the group behind, because if I am, then I get absolutely crucified for it. These are the kinds of things that, you know, golf needs to be getting rid of. Let me know your worst experiences. Comment them down below that has happened to you on a golf course. I'd love to know, because I think we've all had them. All of my friends have at some point had someone so absolutely rude, obnoxious, come up to them, have a go at them, say they weren't doing something right, and it is frankly ridiculous. But I do believe this is 100% the wrong way to go for the USGA and the R&A and the future of golf. And they talk about preserving golf for the next 100 years, but the fact is that these people making the decisions really are of the older generation. They don't hugely understand the world as it is today. They don't understand social media. They don't like that the game is changing, and things have to change in order to evolve, in order to get better. You can't just hold on to them and say, you know, no, we want to make golf less exciting. I don't understand how that appeals to anyone, to make golf less exciting. If I had a golf tournament in my hometown tomorrow and there were spectators allowed at it, you know, I'd be going to watch Bryson DeChambeau bombing the ball as far as possible, Dustin Johnson. These guys are the people we want to see. Rory Mcilroy. We want to see them hitting the ball so far. It's impressive. Like, we use the same equipment as them and we can't do it. So I don't understand how taking that entertainment factor away is ever going to make the game of golf better. If golf courses are becoming too easy, if they're becoming too short, there are other ways to make golf more difficult, more challenging, more skillful. That is design of the courses, more strategically placed bunkers, firmer, faster fairways, smaller fairways, longer rough, firmer, faster greens. You know, all of these things make the game much more fun, much more interesting, and, you know, don't limit our enjoyment on the game. So, yeah, I mean, I just don't understand how that makes sense at all. Golf is, at the end of the day, a spectator sport, just like any other, and making it as entertaining as possible is so important to that. But there's another reason that golfers now on the PGA and European tours are hitting the ball further. These young guys coming up from, you know, the juniors and amateur ranks. There's a reason why they're hitting the ball further, and that is fitness. They are spending more time in the gym. They are getting fitter and stronger and healthier. Look at what Bryson's done. He put a lot of work in to getting stronger, getting faster, and that has translated into distance. He didn't change his driver. He didn't change his golf ball. He's still using the same equipment. He's just added extra speed through, you know, his own hard work. And there is another absolutely ridiculous thing by the R&A that they're saying at the moment. So basically the R&A and USGA are saying that the golf club drivers, which currently are limited, the shafts are limited to be 48 inches long. They're saying that that's going to be reduced to 46 inches. So let's read a little bit of this and then we're going to sum up and call it a day. Okay, so Bryson DeChambeau experimented in practice, you know, at the US Open with a much longer driver shaft in order to get more speed. He didn't put it in play that week, but, you know, he was seen to be talking about this and doing this. So As Bryson sought more distance off the tee, the US Open champion trialled a 48-inch driver, the maximum shaft length under current rules. Under new proposals from the R&A and United States Golf Association, USGA, shafts could be reduced to 46 inches. R&A chief Martin Slumbers said it is a balance of skill and technology. I have no idea how that makes sense. If you are hitting a longer driver shaft, you are going to have more skill to be able to strike the ball out of the middle of the club face than if you were using a shorter driver shaft. That statement in itself makes zero sense. A balance of skill and technology. You need more skill to hit a longer driver than you do a shorter one. Anyway, keep going. Bryson DeChambeau uses a driver that measures just under the proposed mark and can smash tee shots more than 350 yards. That's another important thing to mention, guys, is that I don't know anyone who currently uses a 48-inch driver. There have been players who have tried it, definitely tried it, but don't use it. Like Phil Mickelson tried it, Bryson DeChambeau tried it, I'm sure there are others, but they don't use it. They're not even using it in competition play. Seems kind of pointless. There is one situation where this could potentially be really, really horrible to some people. And if you have ever seen some of Rick Shields' video where he played golf with I think he was the tallest person in the UK, the tallest Brit. He was 7 foot something. His golf clubs were all custom built, obviously. They had to be as long as possible. His driver was, I'm pretty sure, right up to the legal limit, 48 inches, something like that. And it was still so short for him. So if you are extremely tall and they're cutting down the driver shaft, then you're going to be bending over that extra 2 inches, I guess. So anyway, however, Slumbers insists the proposal is not directly aimed at the American. He said, this is not a person-specific thing, said the St. Andrews-based boss. We were looking at this 4 years ago, and in our Distance Insight report, this was one of the options available for us when we were considering this back in February 2020. We've tried hard in this to be agnostic to individual players, but inevitably long hitters could be personalised in that, and there is no doubt there has been a lot of players who explored the use of longer drivers, not just Bryson. The proposals are part of the latest developments in the Distance Insight project, which seeks to limit driving distance. The governing bodies have also announced a review of club and ball specifications. So, yeah, I have no idea what is going through these guys' heads, what they are thinking, the amount of money and time they have wasted on this, which is only going to have a negative effect on our beautiful sport. It makes me incredibly sad, it does. It makes me incredibly sad because I want to see golf thrive. I want to see golf moving forward, pushing boundaries, challenging expectations and perceptions of it to be a all-inclusive, max entertainment, exciting, fun sport for everyone. And with these changes that are being discussed, in my mind, it's going to do the opposite to that in my mind. So let me know what you guys think about that. I would love your opinions. Please do comment them down below. You may have a difference in opinion to me. That is absolutely fine. I'd love to hear it, and I will be replying to all comments down below. So that's about it for this video, guys. It's sad. I will be bringing you any more news as I get it on this situation because it does really affect us all in the future of our sport. So yeah, like this video, subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next one. As always, guys, grip it and rip it.